Nice and straight, but pretty low.
Yeah. So that kind of height I'd be thrilled with.
So just to give you an idea, that shot there you said you were thrilled with is 47 feet high.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just gives us, I say it doesn't really mean anything, but it gives us a reference that, you know, that's kind of for you a good shot. I think we can get it higher than that today, comfortably higher than that today. So in terms of your ball flight, I would agree with you that it's a little bit on the low side if you're right. Do you know about your swing? If I said to you, I agree to low, would you say, yep, and this is how I'm going to fix it? Or you're a little bit lost into what you actually need to do to fix it? Do you know why it's low?
I think it's contact. I think I'm hitting the ground too much before the ball.
Yeah.
I think.
Correct. Yeah, which is good. There's two things we need, well, there's a few things we need to do, but very often what happens in a golf swing is you can look at whether it be data or whether it be ball flight, and you can almost look at maybe 4 things that need to change. And as the golfer, you could potentially go, 4 things, but they're all connected. Yeah. Like if you change one thing, you get all those 3 things for free. So a lot of what you're seeing is connected. There's not many things in golf which are like non-negotiables, right? Yeah. A grip is not essential, because you'll see people with weird and wonderful grips playing great golf, right? Posture isn't essential. People stand for the ball in different ways and play great golf. One of the things that kind of is essential, that's a non-negotiable, is when you're hitting off the ground with an iron, is that the golf club is traveling in such a way that it makes contact with the ball as it's continuing to go downwards. That doesn't mean that you will always take a divot, but we want the club to make contact with the ball and continue downwards. So we call that attack angle. It's always going to have a number. You're either hitting the ball as the club is traveling downwards, as the club is traveling level, or as it's traveling up. Yeah. It's got to be on the way down. Yours is on the way up. Yeah. So if the club is making contact with the ball on the way up, it means that prior to contact, it was lower than it currently is, which is why the ground's getting in the way. Now, when I say up, it's 0.2 degrees up on average. It's not a huge amount, but some of them were a lot more than that. So your club is essentially bottoming out before the ball and then working up this way. So the ground is always getting in the way. Yeah. Stick the ball on a T-peg, happy days, you'd love it and you'd be great, but we can't do that on the golf course. Your actual setup and alignment isn't bad. When you hit the ball, your club is traveling way out to the right. Right. On some of them, like 9 degrees, which is quite a bit. So if your club is swinging 9 degrees to the right, let's say that's the 175 board, might not be, let's say it's the 175 board, that's where your club is traveling. It's not where you're aiming. You're aiming pretty straight, but your club is traveling in that direction. How would you get the ball to come back towards your target? Relative to where you swing it, you have to close the face, which de-lofts it. So when you hit the ball, your 7-iron has effectively got less loft than it should have. So it's always going to lower the ball flight. So that alignment stick is basically just referencing where we're going. Yeah. Okay, get yourself comfortable. So are you ready? Okay, we spoke about club path, which is where the club swings, and we spoke at the attack angle. The two are connected. Okay, the more that you swing the club out to the right of your target, I know I'm making this very exaggerated, but the more you swing out to the right, is that club going to bottom out before or after the ball?
Way before.
Way before. Now that was exaggerated. If I said to you, swing the club massively to the left of the target, where's it going to bottom out?
After.
After. So because you swing to the right, that's why the club bottoms out. Okay. They're not two things that are separate. They're two separate numbers that we measure, but it's the same sort of fault. So what we've got to try and do for you is basically get your club to stop swinging as much out to the right and start to get that club to swing a little straighter. So let's have a little look at how much skill you've got.
Okay.
Hopefully a lot. I think there's a fair bit in there. Your target is that post down there. I want you to try and see if you can make a downswing where you're focusing on where this points and where this swings. Okay? And you can explore here. You haven't got to hit perfect shots, you've just got to explore different movements. I want you to make a downswing where your club swings what you feel is excessively to the left of that target. So maybe even like the 100 board there. So the club is swinging towards that 100 board. But as you do that, the club is pointing more out to the right of that. Right. Okay, so we want the club to point right and the club to swing left.
Okay.
Excellent. Good. Your club was swinging over 6 degrees to the right. On those shots, it was 3. Okay. So we halved it. Okay, yeah. Just with ideas and concepts, nothing else. What's obviously weird though is it was still right, even though you're feeling like it was left. And your attack angle stayed about the same. Okay, the last one was actually minus 1.9, which is really good. I want you to set up to that tee. Yep. We're not going to put a ball on it, but I want you to imagine there's a ball on it. And I'm going to place this head cover just inside. Now I'll have to figure out where it needs to be for you. But basically, that head cover is going to be in a place where you can make a takeaway, you can bring the club back to the ball on a pretty neutral path, you just can't bring it in on a path that you currently have. So that's going to be a little bit of feedback. But what I want you to try and do is make some swings where you set up to the tee, you make a backswing, you miss the head cover, but you land the club quite aggressively onto the mat, anywhere target side of that tee. So if we look at what your pattern would be, it would be swinging too much from the inside, you would probably hit the head cover, and you'd probably land the club before the ground, before the tee. So we're going here, here, here. Okay, that's fine. So what's there for? So what's there for? Okay, so this time, hit that tee as far as you can. There you go. Best swing you've done. No ball, but it was kind of, at least we've got a pattern which is a little different. Hit the tee. The tee just happens to be a ball now rather than a tee, okay? Don't worry about where it's going. Literally just think of the task. The task is, can you hit the ground where that ball is? That is your only job, okay? Big swing, hit the ground where the ball is. Excellent, good, okay? These are going to feel strange, but in a minute, you're going to get a result, which is going to be pretty different. Okay, getting closer, good. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to move it far less forward.
Okay.
Okay, and I want you to think about the ground here. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking.
That one felt better.
There we go. Okay, much better. What we want to try and do now is keep all your ideas and thoughts the same, but move the ball back to where it should be. So you're now going to set up with the ball kind of where it should be. Your ball position at the start was perfect for that club. So this is your ball position, but everything in your mind is saying, can you land the club after the ball, swing the club left, and feel like the club face is open. Okay, and these are all feels. Okay, I'm not giving you anything technical as in right hand does this. I want you to base it or do this on feel. So it's feeling like you swing down and left. I mean, you can like land the club super late front. Okay. Yep. Okay, really good. Really good. I like that. Superb. Great golf swing. So if I take this end of the club here, which is the grip end here. In fact, if I take your arms, if I move your arms back and forth, the club should flow behind those hands. Yeah. Feel that? Okay, it doesn't stay in kind of one line. And what that does, it shows me that you've got some freedom in the wrists. Yeah. Your club is going to be traveling, can be up to 120 odd mile an hour with a driver swing. Your fingers need to apply a fair bit of pressure, otherwise the club just goes flying down the range. That pressure that gets applied with your fingers to the club, we don't want that to lock the wrists. So if you do that again, club out in front of you, really common to see this, where everything is kind of locked in place and it's difficult. So as the arms move, you want to feel as if the club is lagging behind, okay? And it's not lagging because you're kind of forcing it, it's just, you know, you can lag it even more, soften those wrists, there we go, okay? So that's going to create, on the way down, it's going to create more delay in your wrists. Yeah. One of the things that you do in your golf swing, I'm just going to move you up to the top a little bit here. One of the things that you do, which can influence the contact as well, is you'll tend to, in the downswing, you'll tend to use your wrists in this way. You'll tend to use the energy you've got stored up too soon, which means that you kind of waste energy and speed, and then that can also cause the club to kind of land a little bit sooner. Yeah. So I want you to do, if you just jump off the mat, I'm going to give you a little exercise to do. I call this the kind of floating takeaway. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a set up to the tee, and you're going to make a little backswing where you feel this part of the club moves before the club head moves. So rather than sort of a normal takeaway such as this, what can happen from that is as you make this takeaway and you start to use your wrists, it's really easy to then start to use the wrists early on the way down. What I'd love you to do, and I'm going to make this really exaggerated, but you can do the same, is you feel like as you swing, the grip moves before the club head moves. So when I make my backswing, the club is lagging behind me. But then as I change direction, it goes the other side. So we start to get away from something that might look like this, club starts, to hands start. And it really starts to get you to feel how that club is kind of lagging behind my hands, which is kind of what we were seeing from here. Okay. And if I put my foot here, okay, you should be able to get your hands to probably around about here without the club head moving. So if you imagine, there we go, perfect. So you feel like a little bit of body turn, a little bit of movement, okay, back to the start. Okay, do that again for me, here, and then eventually that club would follow, but then as you change direction, it goes the other side of your hands. Okay, so have a little go at that. Just have a little go. Feel like the really soft wrists, grip starts. That's it, and then change direction. Good. Okay, and I want you to feel there's more freedom here. When I say freedom, it's going to feel like the club's out of control, and you're going to start gripping it tight. So just feel really, really loose. Superb. Love that. Feel more out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Okay, really good. Really good. Not easy to do that, but it's good. Oh, there you go. That's because I said that was the last one. Put the pressure on. There you go. So you hit 3.5 degrees down,
Yeah.
which is better. What was your height? 49 feet high. Much better. And speed was 67. Much better. It's good.
Awesome.